Welcome to Top Accolade News. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, has promised a stronger and more comprehensive security approach ahead of the 2027 general elections. But the defense minister has also issued a warning, saying that no security arrangement, no matter how sophisticated, can guarantee peaceful elections if political actors choose violence over dialogue. Musa made the remarks in Abuja while speaking on the security challenges and integrity of Nigeria's 2027 elections. His comments come as political parties and candidates begin positioning themselves for what is expected to be one of Nigeria's most closely watched election cycles. The defense minister said election security can no longer be limited to deploying security personnel around polling stations. According to him, the nature of threats facing elections has changed significantly. While physical violence, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and communal conflicts remain serious concerns, new threats are increasingly emerging in cyberspace. Musa specifically warned about cyberattacks, artificial intelligence-generated misinformation, manipulated videos, cloned voices, and other forms of digital deception. He said these technologies could be used to mislead voters, exploit divisions, and undermine confidence in democratic institutions. The minister stressed that protecting an election now means protecting not only polling units and electoral materials, but also the information environment and the credibility of the democratic process. Musa's warning comes at a critical moment for Nigeria. The 2027 elections are already attracting intense political attention, with political parties preparing for presidential, governorship, National Assembly, and State Assembly contests. The minister said security planning must begin well before Election Day. He argued that successful election security cannot depend on last-minute deployment of personnel. Instead, security agencies must use intelligence, technology, interagency cooperation, and continuous assessment of emerging threats. The federal government has also reaffirmed its commitment to providing the resources, personnel, and technology needed to confront security threats ahead of the elections. Information Minister Mohammed Idris said the government is focused on creating the security and information environment necessary for peaceful, credible, and transparent elections. One of the biggest concerns raised by the defense minister is the growing influence of artificial intelligence. Musa warned that technology can now make it possible to create convincing but completely fabricated videos, images, and voices. Such material could potentially be circulated online before voters have an opportunity to verify whether the information is genuine. This, he said, creates a new challenge for election security. Instead of a threat coming only from someone physically present at a polling station, an attacker could operate anonymously from behind a computer. That person could spread false information, manipulate public opinion, or attempt to create tension between different groups. Musa therefore called for stronger cyber resilience and strategic communication as part of Nigeria's preparations for 2027. The defense minister also placed responsibility on political parties and candidates. He warned that security agencies alone cannot guarantee peaceful elections. Political actors, according to Musa, must also take responsibility for their conduct. He said political competition should not be treated as warfare. Candidates and political parties must be prepared to resolve disagreements through dialogue rather than violence. Musa further warned that no electoral law could succeed if misinformation replaces truth, and no democratic institution can thrive if citizens lose confidence in the rule of law. The minister has proposed a broader framework for strengthening election security. The proposed approach includes strategic intelligence integration, electoral cyber resilience, civil-military coordination, unified strategic communication, a responsible information environment, and greater citizen engagement. The idea is to move Nigeria away from viewing election security as something that happens only on election day. Instead, security preparations should begin months before voting and continue after the results are announced. This approach is designed to help security agencies identify potential threats early and respond before they develop into major crises. Musa also assured Nigerians that the armed forces would remain within their constitutional responsibilities. He said the military would not take sides in political contests and would provide lawful support to civil authorities when required. The Defense Ministry is expected to work with other security and electoral institutions, including the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Nigeria Police Force, the Department of State Services, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and the Independent National Electoral Commission. The goal is to improve coordination and ensure that security agencies are prepared for possible threats before, during, and after the election. Nigeria's previous elections have shown how important security is to the democratic process. In areas affected by insecurity, voters may be discouraged from participating. Violence can also disrupt campaigns, prevent candidates from reaching communities, and create fear among citizens. Musa therefore stressed the importance of intelligence-led planning rather than waiting until election day before responding to threats. He said the experience of previous elections has provided important lessons for improving coordination between security agencies, but the defense minister's message is not only about security forces. It is also a call to Nigerians. Citizens have a role to play by rejecting political violence, refusing to spread unverified information, and reporting suspicious activities through appropriate channels. The media also has an important responsibility. As misinformation and artificial intelligence-generated content become more sophisticated, journalists and news organizations will face greater pressure to verify information before publishing it. The government has also highlighted media and information literacy as an important part of protecting the democratic process. For the 2027 elections to be peaceful and credible, several factors will therefore have to work together. Security agencies must remain professional and neutral. Political parties must respect democratic rules. Candidates must discourage violence among their supporters. Citizens must reject misinformation and provocative content, and electoral institutions must maintain public confidence. The defense minister's message is that election security is a shared responsibility. No single institution can protect Nigeria's democracy alone. As political campaigns gradually intensify, security is expected to remain one of the biggest issues surrounding the 2027 elections. Nigeria is facing traditional security challenges, but the emergence of cyber threats and AI-generated misinformation means the battlefield has expanded. The threat may no longer always be visible. It could appear as a fake video, a manipulated photograph, a cloned voice, or a false report spreading rapidly across social media. That is why Musa says Nigeria must prepare early. The Defense Minister, General Christopher Musa, has promised a stronger and broader approach to election security ahead of Nigeria's 2027 general elections. But he has made it clear that security agencies cannot guarantee peaceful elections on their own. Political leaders, candidates, the media, and ordinary citizens will all have a role to play in protecting Nigeria's democratic process. As the country moves closer to 2027, the focus will now be on whether these promises translate into effective preparations on the ground. For more breaking political news, security updates, and major developments from Nigeria and around the world, stay with Top Accolade News.